excited about today. We are here for a very special announcement. I am Daniela, a brand manager at Slitherine, and joining me are my colleagues Alberto and Annie.
Hi everyone, I'm Alberto Cosolini, I'm Business Development Manager at Slitherine, and we've been working on this game for a while, right?
Yeah, I'd say about a year and a half, I think, in total. I'm Annie Sims, I'm the producer for Stormbinders, and yeah, I've been working on the Stormbinders game for quite a while.
Yeah, so they have already spoiled the name, but it was not a secret. So we are here for Stormbinders. We've been counting the hours, literally, to this moment. And now we're ready, and we won't keep you waiting for any longer, because we already have the announcement trailer here for you.
For centuries, balance held the world together. Until now. The magical weave has been torn apart, leaving the world teetering on the edge of ruin. The storms of war are now rising. Legendary champions will clash on the battlefield to defend the realm or doom it. Unlikely alliances will be forged. Realms will raise their armies. Only those with true strength can mend the magical weave and bind the storm's fury.
So there it is. If you have been following the store page or the first stages of our announcements, you might have seen the countdown video with some screenshots, but this is really the first sneak peek on Stormbinders gameplay. Actually, it's the first time seeing for you guys.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It's great. It's amazing. It's a great job there. It's very reminiscing of course, Heroes of Might and Magic. It's not a secret,
Yeah.
but it really captures the spirit of the game, what the game is about, the battles, well, the storms.
Yeah.
Strategy
We'll get
wars.
there.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to play, honestly. That just makes me excited to go play.
Yeah, and you play at the supersonic speed.
Yes.
Yes.
Everybody's afraid
Yes.
to play near you.
I'm not allowed to demo the game in front of people anymore because I'm playing too fast because I'm having too much fun.
Yeah, well, essentially, Heroes of Might and Magic 3 was probably the most beloved title of the Heroes of Might and Magic franchise by fans. So back when we started talking with Innomina Games and Static Creations, and they brought this game to us, which, by the way, back then it was a called Stormbinders. Can we say what was the original title?
It was Storms of Winter.
Storms of Winter, which, by the way, was still a cool title, but we decided to change it to Stormbinders, as you can see. So basically, they wanted to craft a game which was a homage to those classics from the 90s. To capture that kind of nostalgic feeling stemming from them. So they showed the game back, well, of course, the game back then was pretty different compared to what it is now. But even back then, we fell in love with it. We saw the passion behind it. We saw the attention to detail around it. And, we saw that the developers working on it were really motivated by the love of the old Heroes of Might and Magic games.
Yeah, I mean, this game is a homage to it, as you said. It's modernizing it a little bit so that you don't get some of the painful UI things that you had in the original one, as much as I love it. But it's also just a new chapter of that feeling, that nostalgic feeling that you had playing those games.
And of course, the story is different. It's set in a completely different universe. We'll tell you more about the factions and the units and the story, and also another brand new feature that brings a new spin to the gameplay, but I don't want to spoil too much.
Actually, everything is pretty detailed in every bits of this game, and of course it has different factions and units, and we can see some in our main art. Nobody has seen it yet because we are revealing it for the first time.
Yeah.
It looks great. Looks great.
It's very dynamic. I like
Yeah.
the succubus doing her big jump with the whip going around
Yeah.
with
Yeah,
the tail.
she also seems very happy while doing so.
Yeah, absolutely. She's
She's
gonna
relishing
about
It's
to,
like we
moment,
love to battle.
yes.
so.
she's about to ruin that
She probably
Inquisitor's
loves to
life.
inflict pain as well.
Yeah,
Just saying.
absolutely. I mean, that's at the forefront, but if we sort of get rid of them behind, you can see some of the other units and other elements of the game.
Yeah,
there you go.
many details, many details.
Yeah, all these individual characters are actually units from the 4 factions in the game. Yeah, there are so many. There are like 20 of them, maybe a few, maybe a bit fewer.
You
yeah.
can't really say it because it's like they are disappearing on the horizon, where evidently storms are really leaving the horizon of the world on the brink of ruin. So that's pretty contextualized and detailed.
And you get sort of a hint at some of the factions and some of the
Yeah.
units in
Yeah.
the game, and of course the storms.
Yeah, these are all, I mean, realistic units that you can find in the games. So
And also various kinds of storms that you might experience while you're
Yeah,
playing.
exactly. Like you can see the firestorm on to the left, a sandstorm between that and the one in the middle.
Yeah,
then to the
ice,
storm.
lightning.
yeah,
Smoke,
there's also
fire.
a guy who's being captured in a tornado. He's not doing well.
I mean, I guess that's what happens when you have big storms in the game.
yeah, that's it.
So yeah, I mean, people can already see that there are several different factions, quite diverse factions as well. You could see that in the trailer as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, looking great. So as you can tell by this artwork and by the actual name of the game, of course, storms play a central role both in the story as well as in the actual gameplay of the game.
And actually, there are some references to the real story in the game. For example, the soul beam expanding from the castle in the background is actually in the castle of one of the factions that is the Immortus one. So the level of details goes really in depth of the game.
Also, you know, I'm quite curious to see if people can guess the theme behind the 4 factions just by looking at this artwork, you know?
Yeah, I mean, there are units from all 4 factions in there.
So yeah, please feel free to guess in the comment section because we really like to know if someone is able to guess correctly.
So whether you're familiar or not with Heroes of Might and Magic and these kind of classic, it's pretty easy to get into the strategic depth of the game, as strategy in Stormbinders is not only about battles. You can find it in the way you manage your resources as you move into the map, and in the castle map, and in the battlefield. So it will be really intuitive as soon as you start your first campaign.
Yeah, basically, like Heroes of Might and Magic fans will be familiar with, you command a hero, you move across a campaign map, you can have different types of encounters as you explore the map. They can be neutral, they can be allies, they can be enemies. You can run into different kind of events. You can find the resources, you can basically take control of buildings across the map. Those provide different kinds of resources that then you use in order to essentially build up your economy and also manage your own castle, which of course you will need for recruiting and boosting your army, which then you use for fighting tactical battles. So it's a lot of many interconnected systems that you need to take care of as a player, and you need to master each part of the game in order to succeed.
Yeah, I mean, that's the overworld sort of world map, and then you've also got the battle map, which we've shown a bit in the trailer, which is a hex-based fighting system. Your units have different abilities, and you have to be able to play the map and what is physically on the map, whether that is obstacles or enemies or storms, to be able to beat people and get their stuff, basically. So there's a bit of strategy, a bit of tactics, a bit of like pre-preparing with your castle, but also in the buildings that you interact with. So all sorts of layers and interactive systems, as you mentioned.
And of course, reacting to ever-shifting situations.
Yeah, as Alberto said, it's about different systems that get in touch with each other. So the way you recruit units will impact on your probability of success when you're on the battlefield, and the way you manage your resources will have impact in the castle map and in how many buildings you can actually have in it. So we can actually see the castle map on screen. Here it is.
Yeah, by the way, I love how the custom maps or the town maps look like for each of the 4 factions.
Yeah, this
Very
is
painted.
just the first one, but the others are also amazing.
Yes, my goodness.
Yeah, as you could see in the trailer, as you build, well, as you construct your buildings, you can see the whole map being, or the whole screen being filled with buildings. It really looks magical and amazing.
Yeah, but at the start you only have a really tiny tower. I would say it doesn't either look as a castle, so you will have to build it progressively, and there's a lot of buildings that you can create for your resources.
Absolutely. I mean, there's only a finite amount of resources on the map, unless you want to sit there and just try and cheese it, which doesn't usually work. But you can build things such as barracks for training troops for various units. You can also build things such as the marketplace where you can trade resources, which is sort of a way around that, another strategic way of working. Mage guilds, which you also upgrade, where you can get spells, which can influence in the battlefield, but also outside of it. And things such as the training grounds. So you might be able to upgrade units that you don't particularly have a building for in your city. Which is quite interesting as well when you can go around and hire units out in the world.
Yeah, basically units from other factions.
Yeah.
If you are able somehow to recruit units from other factions, you will then be able to replenish those losses in case you incur into some, or upgrade those units. But with the training grounds, you can. And of course, also buildings come with their own upgrades, which are more powerful versions of the existing buildings and have more powerful effects for your faction.
And as well as you can level up your buildings, units also have upgrades. And actually we have a lot of units per each faction. We have 18 of them for each faction, which includes the upgrades. So different kinds of it. We can see some examples.
Yeah, basically, as you can see here, there are base unit types and then there are more advanced unit types. You can normally tell by decorations on their armor or their overall appearance.
Visually, there's a very clear differentiation between the base unit and the upgrade. For example, you can see the archer here. He comes with light armor and a standard bow. So he's an archer unit, a ranged unit. Versus if you upgrade his Archer's Lodge into the Marksman's one here, you can see that they have gold armor, more superior bow, and with that comes abilities such as not having any sort of penalty for shooting across the map. So they get a range buff for their damage.
Yeah, choosing the right upgrades and choosing the right buildings in order to have that upgrade is vital to the gameplay. And of course, it makes each playthrough feel really different, because of course advanced units can have a really profound effect on the battlefield.
Yeah, I mean, you can see from the art here, our unit sprites are sort of like 2.5D, so they are all handmade. They all have unique animations for attacking, moving, dying, which is one of my favorite things from Hom 3. Need to finish my sentence there. So, I mean, it's just, there's a lot of attention to detail put into these units.
Yes.
And also they are really diverse. We have different kinds of it.
So we had
For
our,
example, we
our
can
ranged
see-
unit previously. This is a more melee unit here. This is
Yeah.
our assassin, which is a bit of a glass cannon unit. So it does a lot of damage, but then it's also incredibly squishy. So you can see here we've got her with sort of quite lightly armored, and once she upgrades into the Shadow Blade, you can see that she's now got that gold armor. So visually quite obvious that she's the upgraded one, but also physically is more covered, so is faster, and I believe this has like a boost to initiative, and like cuts through armor at like 30% or something like that.
The trick to
really-
use this unit currently is to kill your enemy before they're able to shoot back
Yeah.
or to fight back.
And I really like the animation when she kills enemy units, like goes dun 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 dun.
Yes.
Yeah, the stabbing animation.
Yes, it's really cool.
We have also totally different creatures, like the Seraphic Sentinel. This is one of my favorite.
Yeah, I mean, very obviously inspired by like biblical angels. We're doing something a little more interesting with our like base faction and making it more of that like high light sort of inspired designs. But this thing flies, but it also can access the spell book just like your hero can, which makes it a bit of a wild card. And when it upgrades here to the Celestial Harbinger, you can see it gets more like archangel-y, it gets more eyes, it becomes more of a power of darkness. So it's very, very cool. I just think the design's really unique.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but one of my favorite things in Hom was to go through and see like the high dragon or the angel or whatever it is at the very top of the like thing when you were recruiting units that you were probably never going to get to in this game, and like see how cool they looked. So I'm glad we captured that.
Yeah, of course, we don't want to spoil too many of those advanced units, but of course, most people, well, you know, having pikemen and archers is cool, but they want to see the really high-end
creatures.
Yes, the creatures.
Yeah.
Those units being able to do very earth-shattering things, you know.
Absolutely.
But these examples are only from the Imperium faction, which is in the first campaign. But there are other three, actually.
Yeah. Are we allowed to
We could
say
talk.
more about them?
I think it'd
Can
be
we?
good to talk a little bit about them.
All
Yeah.
right, shall we?
Yeah.
Okay, so there are three more factions with, you know, each has a different theme to them. Of course, the Imperium faction is, let's say, the more, well, vanilla sounds a bit lame, but
Yeah,
it's
the
more.
light people.
Yes,
Yeah.
they're mostly a human-centered faction.
Yeah.
Then we have an undead-themed faction.
The Mortis.
Yes, a demon-themed faction.
Yeah, it's the Helion.
Yes, and more of a genie.
Space and
Yes.
tech and sand
Yes.
themed
Yeah,
faction.
that's the Astrian.
So yeah, they're very diverse and they play very, very differently.
My goodness, yes, they do.
Yeah, they do. And of course, as you were saying, Daniela, each come with a completely different roster of units and heroes.
Yeah.
They're certainly not going to mistake one for the other. So they look really cool. You can actually see a couple of the different units, both in the key art, as we mentioned, but also in the trailer. So maybe you can spot them.
Yeah. I'm actually wondering if someone was able to guess correctly in the comment section before. But yeah, these are the four factions in Stormbinders.
As well as the factions and units, we also have different schools of elemental spells that players can find in the spell book for those units who can actually use it. We can see some of them.
Yeah, there's like the traditional buff and debuff spells, which are always useful. You also have things like traps you can put down on the map. You can kind of see someone getting blasted before by, I think it was air. I didn't quite get a look, but there are all sorts of interactions as well with the weather that's going on during your fight.
Yeah, so Annie, what is your favorite spell in the current build?
I mean, it should be like a buff or debuff because that's sort of what I use most of the time. But in reality, it's probably a lightning call, like a massive lightning strike, because it's just very satisfying to use. Just go whoosh.
Yeah, I have to say the visual effects for these spells, they tend to be very, very satisfying.
Yes.
Yeah.
You cast a spell and maybe you see a meteor falling from the sky and it
Summon a
enemy, and
full
you're like,
blizzard.
yes,
Yeah, it
yes.
just looks really cool.
Really, really cool.
And then you have also weather against you, so the challenge never ends.
Oh yeah, I was seeing some raindrops there.
You can see some rain. At some point, people get hit by lightning because they've unfortunately picked a battle within a lightning storm. So,
Yeah, as we were saying before, weather has a larger role to play in Stormbinders, of course, as per the title, right? So there are many different types of storms, both in the campaign map as well as in the battle map. And of course, they can vary in intensity, and they can also vary in the elemental type of storm. So for instance, there can be firestorms, sandstorms, blizzards, electrical storms, rainy storms, very strong wind,
Yeah.
tornadoes.
I think I was playing one the other day that bumped me down an initiative because it slowed me down in battle. So there's all sorts of interactions that you wouldn't really expect from them.
Yeah, they can be really, really decisive. I was playing the other day. I don't quite remember what effect it was, but it had a profound effect on the battlefield. I was surprised. It really brings a fresh spin to how the game plays, and I'm pretty sure that Heroes of Might and Magic players will be pleased to see this new layer of complexity and innovation brought to the original and classic gameplay.
That's actually a key and unique aspect in Stormbinders, but I'm afraid I have to stop you here, guys, because we can't talk
Really?
too much about it
Darn
at
it.
the moment. We have to keep some secret for yourself because we are unveiling more and more about the game in the coming months. So I would suggest you to join our Discord to not miss any of the news that is coming, to browse the store page with new gifts and new visual assets that you will get in touch with, and to wishlist the game. So I think that's a wrap for us at this time, but that's just the beginning for Stormbinders. So stay tuned because you will see very good things.
Yeah, I can't wait to share more with you guys.
Yes, we can wait.
Thank you again to the developer studios, Destructive Creations and It Games. And thank to you for being with us today. Bye-bye.
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 Thank you.